A national sales director in her seminar. As a sales director, Lisa qualified for 8 top sales director trips, including 7 prestige trips. She's been in the top 10 of her seminar 7 times, and she led her unit to the $1 Million Circle of Excellence 4 times. She was also in the top 10 as a sales director nationwide. She's been a runner-up to the Queen of Unit Sales for her seminar, and she debuted as a national sales director out of the Darlene-Bergren area in 2009. Lisa's highest monthly commission check so far is over $36,000, and she's a Mary Kay multi-millionaire with over $3 million in commissions. Lisa's achieved Gold Circle 7 times and Diamond Circle twice. Ladies and gentlemen, please get on your feet and welcome Independent National Sales Director, Lisa Allison.
That song. Anybody with me? How many of you feel like you've experienced a leader shift here in San Diego? Well, I hope you won't mind if I quote a little rock and roll. Would that be all right? Please allow me to introduce myself. I became a director in August of 1999 out of the Susan Holman unit, and by June the following year we earned a Cadillac and achieved a $300,000 Circle of Achievement. The following June, $600,000, and then $650,000, and then on a top director trip to Vienna, my mind expanded. People often ask me, how did we do that? How did we earn a Cadillac our first year? How did we earn a top director trip? How did we become bad and nationwide? Would you like to know some secrets? My thoughts may give you a leader shift. The secret life in my office stems from 2 words. First, simple. I like simple. I thrive with simple. Complicated concepts shut me down. Anybody know what I mean? I like simple, and thank you, Mary Kay, for creating a simple business for us. My senior national, Susan Holman's basic mantra relates to keeping things simple. Her mantra is, this business isn't brain surgery. Susan was brave enough to teach me a critical and honest leader shift. The truth was that people will let you down.
Numbers never will.
Numbers never will. Write that down. She told me those exact words when a client returned her miracle set. And when I lost my first offspring director, people will let you down. Numbers never will. That was simple to me. So what I'm about to share with you is something I've never shared before in public. I thought it was too simple. However, it's how I work every day in my home office, or when I work at a coffee shop, or when I'm on the road. In addition to my phone and my laptop, I just work with 4 basic things that can easily fit into a tote bag and go. Do I have any directors or DIQs who have a tote bag? Aren't we the tote bag queens? So simple. The first thing is a spiral notebook. I like a clean sheet of paper every day. It feels like a fresh start to my day. You know what I mean? My 6 most important things list mostly gets written down. Sometimes it's more like 20 most important things, but I like the freshness of a clean sheet of paper. If you've ever been to any education with our friend Gloria Mayfield Banks, you've heard her say, take out a clean sheet of paper. Take out a clean sheet of paper. That spoke to me. So it's a basic spiral notebook. I prefer a 5-subject. I go through about 2 to 3 a year. I call it my business journal, and it's a simple part of my office and my day. 2, I work with a page of loose leaf notebook paper. Let me tell you a story. In August of 1999, as a shiny new sales director, A director I greatly admired took me out to lunch. I was on cloud nine. Her name is Esther Miller, and she's now been in our company over 50 years. I couldn't wait to ask her a super critical question. Close to the end of our lunch, I got my chance. I looked her in the eye and asked, Esther, I'm a brand new sales director. What do I do now? She reached across the table and took my hand and looked me directly in the eye. And do you know what she said? She said, Lisa, you just keep doing what you're doing. My first thought was, that was simple. And while driving home that day, I started to get angry. I thought to myself, Esther has all these years of experience in Mary Kay, and that's all she's got for me. But by the time I pulled into my driveway, I knew she was right. She was telling me to keep doing what I'd been doing. Susan had coached me while I was a beauty consultant that a simple key to success was to count your faces. She called it a power start, and she promised me if I worked with intention, facialing 30 new people myself every month, that I would be a success. You know what? She was right. I began a simple tracking method. I took a single sheet of loose leaf notebook paper and numbered 1 to 30. And every time I facialed someone, guess what I did? I wrote her name on that list. It became a challenge, like a sense of achievement. And I never once called Susan and said, this business doesn't work, or I can't be a good director. I knew if I did, she'd ask me how many faces I'd seen the prior month. And since it didn't take my accounting degree to be able to count, I could count. I always knew. And I knew how to fix things if I didn't like what was happening in my business. I learned a valuable lesson about shifting disappointments. I learned to count people instead of counting on people. Would you like me to say that again? I knew how to fix things if I didn't like what was happening in my business. Anybody ever been there? Nobody? I learned about shifting disappointment. I learned to count people instead of counting on people. So just 2 more things and I'll wrap up. 2 more things that make my home office simple. I work with a simple 2-pocket folder. The left pocket is a page for each new consultant I add to my unit. I'll print her agreement form, grab a sheet of paper, whatever, so I ask her. So when I ask her the 4 Ps that Sean Key taught us to ask every new consultant, I'll have a place to jot it down. I take notes on every single conversation, because Sean also taught me just this month as a national something so wise. In the cover article in our national news notes, Sean said, some people will stay with you forever because your words are their joy. Sean said that in this fast-paced world of constant change, choice overload, and temporary relationships, there's a method you can use to attract and retain important relationships. The method, and Sean is exactly right, is the art of speaking to the other person's joy. I take copious notes on conversations with my new people, and because I'm expecting them to move from the left side of my 2-pocket folder to the right side where I keep a sheet on current superstars. The simple act of moving the details about a new person from the left pocket to the right pocket is just a symbolic shift in my brain of a leadership. Does that make sense? So now you know how simple-minded I am. A spiral notebook, some loose leaf paper, a 2-pocket folder, and lastly, my go-to brain book is my lookbook. And on the front of my lookbook, I write in big letters, Lisa's working copy, so I don't give it to a hostess. And make sure, gosh, it's like my on-the-go product knowledge resource. It helps me to stay curious. You know, this may sound weird, but I love to study it. I feel like our marketing team at Mary Kay has the most effective words to describe our products, and our lookbook is my favorite. I've been known to say at every party that I have a personal assistant who will make sure my clients receive our latest lookbook for free 4 times a year. And it's filled with the hottest products to keep you feeling beautiful. Of course, my personal assistant is better known as PCP, our award-winning preferred customer program. She's awesome. My Mary Kay home office, you guys, fits in a tote bag. My phone, sometimes my laptop, my spiral notebook, my loose leaf paper, my 2-pocket folder, my current lookbook. That's like stupid simple. So the first word I describe to how I work in my office is simple. The second word to describe how I work, like what's the first thing I do when I get to my office, and what would I say is a secret to my success, would be a completely unsexy word. Let me tell you a story. When I was in DIQ, I asked my adopted director, Nancy Berman, if I could ask her something important following her weekly success event. That week, after I'd helped her load the trunk of her pink Cadillac, she invited me back into her studio and we sat down together. I basically asked her what you probably have once or twice thought of asking your director, if she had a crystal ball she could whip out and tell me the future. I didn't word it quite like that, but I said, Nancy, do you think I'm going to be any good in Mary Kay? She hesitated.
Oh.
My brain conjured up all those negative things in her hesitation. Do you ever do that? Like when you ask a potential hostess if there's any reason why she couldn't be one of your next hostesses and she hesitates. Nancy hesitated, and then she said, Lisa Allison, I think you're going to be great. Great in this business because you are consistent. I just sat there. You know how when you make mad, passionate love to your husband, he looks over you and says, babe, you are so consistent. But when I pulled into our driveway, I knew that she was right. And if that unsexy word was the best she could think of, then I was going to make her proud. I was going to be the most consistent leader I could possibly be. I was going to take a sheet of loose leaf notebook paper and number 1 to 30 and make sure I was stationing minimum 30 people per month. That loose leaf paper was going to be the gauge of my success. When Susan Holman said to me that people will let you down, numbers never will, that made sense. It was simple. From time to time, I'm asked how I cope with disappointment. My answer is always the same. I know without a doubt what will not disappoint me. In a nutshell, I know how to count. Directors and DIQs, are you looking for a leader shift?
Yes.
Our first top director trip to Vienna exploded my thinking. Mary Kay spoiled my husband Ron and me to the point where I knew we would never travel the same way again. What I found were like-minded sales directors who were also working a simple and consistent business and who were making it extraordinary. These top directors fueled my growing resolve to go full-on Tom Petty and not back down. The next year, my unit reached 800,000 and then 850,000, followed by multiple million-dollar years. At that point, my husband said, if you don't hurry up and become a national, your area theme song will be by the Beatles. The long and winding road. 10 years after debuting as a sales director, we completed qualifications to become a national area. And our national area theme song is what you heard me come out to, one of the most motivating songs I know. They call me the breeze I keep what? Rolling down the road. If you're committed to Destination Red and being on the Royal Caribbean cruise this year, I want to remind you of the simplicity of this challenge. You know the qualifications, so I'll just close with a question about the elephant in the room. The part of the Destination Red challenge that involves you developing 3 new star team builders. A common question I'm asked is, how do you develop star team builders? My response? I have no idea. Other than working my personal business with intention, an intentional commitment to a minimum of 30 new faces every single month. The secret life in my office stems from 2 concepts, and something you may not know in closing about our president, Nathan Moore, is that he's a Metallica fan. So here's a message for you, Nathan, regarding 30 new faces every month. Nothing else matters. For me, that's how it happened, and simply and consistently. And if you're feeling like you're just a small town girl living in a lonely world, I have 3 words for you. Don't stop believing. Thank you, leadership, San Diego.
Let's hear it again for National Sales Director Lisa